What's up, YouTube? Jeff, your Style O.G. And on today's video, I'm gonna give you my picks for the 10 greatest sneakers of all time. If you're new to the channel, we release a new video every day at 4 p.m. Eastern, discussing various men's lifestyle topics such as style, grooming, and dating. I invite you to subscribe and tap the notification bell and join us. And to my returning friends like Jeff and Co, salute. Now today's video, a tough one to narrow down. There's been so many great sneakers throughout the years, and OG like myself have seen tons and tons that I've loved. But I had to narrow it down to 10. I've got 10 of the most stylish, most impactful, most popular, best-selling sneakers to ever come down the line. So without further ado, let's get into my picks for the 10 greatest sneakers of all time. First on the list, we gotta start with the granddaddy of them all. Of course, I'm talking about that Converse All-Star Chuck Taylor. Now this one has been around since 1923. The first basketball shoe, the first mass-produced one, the shoe that looks good on everybody. Every subculture, every genre, every gender rocks the Converse Chuck Taylor. Affordable, stylish, you just can't beat this one, and one of the greatest sneakers of all time. For our next pick, we got another shoe that's been around for years and years. This one from the 1950s. Originally a soccer or football shoe, depending where you're from, the Adidas Samba. This one, a definite trendsetter. How many other shoes have copied the gum sole, the slim profile? This shoe was definitely ahead of its time and has lasted throughout the years. And in my opinion, one of the greatest sneakers of all time. Hey Style O.G family members, let the arguments begin. Let me know in the comment section which the greatest sneakers of all time are according to you. Next up, we gotta talk about the sneaker that if it was never invented, sneakers and sneaker culture as we know it probably wouldn't exist. Of course, I'm talking about the Air Jordan 1. This one launched a whole industry that became a subculture that became a culture. People started collecting sneakers heavy because of this, especially over the last few decades. Not the most revolutionary design that we've seen in Air Jordan, but this one started it all. Impactful, revolutionary. You can't go wrong putting this one in your list of the greatest sneakers of all time, the Air Jordan 1. Next up, we have a revolutionary, game-changing skateboarding sneaker. Of course, I'm talking about that Vans Skate High. Now, of course, there were skateboarding shoes before this one, but this one's the one that made skateboarding much more comfortable, gave you more support. Using a basketball-type design, a high top, but making it great for skateboarders to wear. Adding more ankle support and protection for skateboarders, but doing it in a stylish way, you know this one was revolutionary. Talk about combining form, function, and style, and it's super affordable. And lately, everybody's wearing these Vans Skate Highs. Definitely a classic sneaker. Next up, we have a shoe or a sneaker that was cool before people knew sneakers could even be cool. Of course, I'm talking about that Puma Suede / Clyde. Tied to one of the original kings of cool, Walt Clyde Frazier, this one's been around since 1968. And we can't leave out its historical significance to b-boys, hip-hop, and MCs. Around since 1968, and seen another explosion in the 80s because of hip-hop, a definite classic, the Puma Suede / Clyde. Speaking of b-boy hip-hop classics, brings us to our next great sneaker. Of course, I'm talking about the Adidas Superstar. As I always called them, the shell toe. Now this one, originally a low-top version of the Adidas Pro model, is the first all-leather upper low-top basketball shoe. We all know and love it, but it really became super prominent when it became the first endorsed sneaker in hip-hop by the legends Run DMC. And of course, it stood the test of time decades and decades since. And of course, one of the best-selling sneakers of all time doesn't hurt. I'm talking about the great Adidas Superstar. Speaking of best-selling shoes, brings us to what they say is the all-time greatest selling athletic shoe of all time, the Nike Air Force 1. Now this one's super iconic and the first basketball sneaker to use air technology. Nicknamed by some the Uptowns, these have been copied over and over and over, but remain an industry staple and standard over the decades. Sometimes this one seems rises and falls in popularity, but it's a classic that many people stand by and some call their favorite. And definitely one of the greatest sneakers of all time, the Nike Air Force 1. Next up, we have one of the most recognizable and most versatile sneakers out there, and one of the greatest, and of course if you watch this channel, you know one of my personal favorites, of course, the Adidas Stan Smith. It's easy to see why this is one of the best-selling sneakers of all time. And it's worn by everybody, from the mainstream and even your sneaker and style snobs. Because of its sleek, minimal design and how easy it is to wear with a variety of outfits, This one never goes out of style. You can catch the ladies rocking these, the fellas, young and old. The Adidas Stan Smith, certainly one of the greatest sneakers of all time. Speaking of the Stan Smiths, brings us to our last but certainly not least sneaker on our list. I'm talking about the one I thought was just a luxury bite of the Stan Smith when it first came out. The Common Project's Achilles Low. Now this is the most recent sneaker on my list, but super impactful. Coming out in the early to mid 2000s, this expanded the luxury sneaker market. Now there were luxury sneakers before this one, but this one blew the doors off. So much so that many companies afterwards have copied the style and built whole companies on this type of design. But this is the one that revolutionized the game. Had people spending $400 on sneakers, got you spending what you would on a great quality dress shoe. Super versatile, minimal, classic, and luxury, you can't argue with the inclusion of the Common Project's Achilles Low. Okay, so there you have it, my picks for the 10 greatest sneakers of all time. Let me know in the comment section which ones you think I left out. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, hit that like button. It helps the channel to grow. And of course, tap the notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos I release every day at 4 p.m. Eastern. And I'll check you out tomorrow.